Hey guys, welcome to the Field of 68 YouTube channel. If you like what you see here, hit that subscribe button and you'll get more college basketball content just like this.
You should be impressed. But I also saw an Illini team that was really good. And here's the deal: Quincy Guerrier going 5 for 8 from three is something we haven't seen. And I'm not saying he can't do it because I've seen him have hot games from time to time, but it's a matter of him doing it consistently. If he's able to do this, Greg, my goodness, Purdue might have somebody to talk to because Illinois has a lot of different switchable bodies on that roster. Robbie Hummel talked about it today. Like they usually play drop coverage. They do a lot of different things as far as defense is concerned. They don't switch everything, but they could. And Coleman Hawkins can kind of just range around the perimeter and just find ways to be a weak side shot blocker. This Illinois team, my goodness, I was worried about point guard play. Ty Rodgers has been more than capable as far as that's concerned. And here's the deal: I don't think they beat Purdue throughout the course of the season. But I think on a given night, if they're able to meet them at the Big Ten championship, they could win because they have individual playmaking, and individual playmaking can take over the course of a game. They have Coleman Hawkins that can pull Zach Edey out a little bit. Missouri's not a challenge. I think the first year under Dennis Gates was a good one. I think they're an NIT team this year. That all being said, still really impressed. And quite frankly, Greg, in a year where the Big Ten has needed a little bit of help getting any kind of publicity, any type of good publicity, this has been a breath of fresh air to see a team so dominant against an SEC team.
Oh, 100%. Like when we're in trouble, we call Daddy Brad in these parts, T.O. That's what we do, okay? And look, he had a different situation last year. That team last year was not short on talent. The team was short on some winning habits in a lot of ways. The team had a little more I than a little more we. And I think he got rid of a couple of those guys. And I think he brought in some guys that are really veteran players that really just want to be a part of a winning team and don't care if they're the fifth leading scorer any given night. It helps that they've got game. It helps that Marcus Damask can go be the best player against Florida Atlantic. It helps that Coleman Hawkins and Terrence Shannon are still who they are. But you're seeing the guys they brought in emerge. You're seeing Brad really settle into a rotation that, as deep and as talented as this team is, he knows the guys that are going to play 30 minutes every night now. And I think that makes them so much more dangerous than they were a year ago. Jerel, it's time. If I need to be humbled on my Illini hype right now, please do it. If not, feel free to jump on board the bandwagon. Do you like them?
I do like them, especially in the Big Ten. Like I said, I think they're just a team that they kind of know their identity already. But I will say this, tonight was very impressive. And just going off kind of what T.O. said, listen, if Guerrier and Coleman Hawkins are going to combine to hit 8 threes a game, it creates a different problem. It completely changes their team. And I'm not saying that that's going to happen every single night. But when those guys are able to step out and space the floor, it creates a different set of problems. So in that sense, you really don't need necessarily a sure shot point guard just to get you through the ups and downs and the lows of the game. But are those guys gonna be able to make shots on a consistent basis, night in and night out, from 3-point range? I think that's the biggest question. When they can, they look fantastic tonight. They scored 97 points, almost broke the 100-point mark. But at the same time, I will also say this: I felt like they did a really good job, and I think this is something they can kind of carry over into the next couple of games to come. They really pushed tempo after they got stops tonight. They really pushed tempo. So that in itself really kind of solves an issue that they have right now with just playmaking and point guard or whatever it may be, is that because they are a good defensive team, and I think that's what they're gonna lay. They're kind of gonna hang their hat on anyway, is that we're gonna be able to stop people, carve out rebounds, and go down the other side of the court. So if you're gonna do that, I felt like they did a really great job tonight against a team against Missouri who likes to get up and pressure and kind of speed the game up a little bit. But they did a good job of that tonight of just playing downhill, and they got one of the best and really the most explosive and athletic guards in Terrence Shannon. Terrence Shannon, he's an absolute blur in the open court. If you get him in space, he's really hard to guard. So just getting those type of guys and having multiple guys that can bring the ball up court, different ball handlers and things like that, it kind of works to their advantage. So I think if nothing else, they can come back after this game, show these guys the film. Look, this is kind of the way we could do it. Because they're not gonna manufacture a ton of points. That's my only drawback of Illinois, is that they're not gonna manufacture a ton of points when they have to come down and face a set defense night in and night out. They average for the year 12 assists, 12 turnovers as a team. And that was before tonight's game. Terrence Shannon averages 20. Damask averages 11. Those are the only two players that they have averaging double figures for the Fighting Illini. So I think this is just kind of a game where they could take from, and they can kind of look to this going forward. Like, okay, well, we're a really good defensive team. Let's get stops. Let's rebound the ball. Let's get out and run and give our guys that can make shots easy in early opportunities in transition, and let's get Shannon the ball in space early on before the defense can kind of set up so that they can try to get easy baskets as well, instead of having to just call plays instead of face a set defense constantly.
Yeah, they've done a good job navigating the point guard issue, right? That's what everyone was skeptical of coming into the season. And Brad's done a fantastic job, whether it is just having them push tempo and lead with the defense so that they don't have to worry about half-court offense. But it's been a sum-of-their-parts approach. Like you said, only two guys in double figures. I think Coleman Hawkins can still get there, by the way. Like tonight, I mean, he was clearly – this is a guy who should be in double figures most nights to me. He hasn't been this season. He had some injuries early, but if he can come on and be a little more consistent, that's great. T.O., you've been our NBA expert this year with all the work you've been doing with the Charlotte Hornets. I need you to just answer me something, because you watch NBA players night in and night out. Why is Terrence Shannon not an NBA player? What does Terrence Shannon not have? Like, I feel like you could drop him on an NBA roster and he could give you good minutes right now.
You know what? I think the big thing is like what the other things. That's the hard thing. Like, not everybody can be an alpha. And if he was somebody that was going to score 30 in the NBA, he'd already be in the NBA. It's a matter of like the other kind of deal. But I can't figure out a reason why to go along with what you're saying. He has hung around college for a while, and quite frankly, I would too, because you're running into certain cash in college right now. It's just a matter of making that next step. And he does everything that you would need to do. I'm pulling up his stats right now. It's going to take me a second, but he's shooting 42% from three. If that continues, he's going to be fine. He has that size, 6'6", 225. He does all those things that you would want somebody to do. He's been able to create his own looks at times, which we all know shot creation at the NBA level is something different. Like, you have to be able to do that at the end of the clock with it only being 24 seconds. If you get stuck with the ball, what can you create? He's shown the ability to be able to create some of those things. The only thing working against him at this point, guys, he's old. That's really what it comes down to. I don't know. He's listed as a senior. He's old. It's not sexy to be old at this point. You got to be 19 years old, 20 years old to be able to, creep in the lottery, unless you just have one of these outstanding 25, 30-point-a-game years. It's just a matter of, this guy can score it. He can shoot it. If he's shooting 42% from three, guys, I can't find a hole in the game right now.
No, I agree. I wholeheartedly agree, T.O., and I think that was the only thing that he was kind of missing going out, because I think he did enter last year, right, and put his name in the draft and did like the combine and everything, but the 3-point percentage wasn't there, with it just being such a stretch the floor league. And number two, I'll say this, just with him having a ball in his hand so much, just him being able to see and make rotational passes consistently. And I think he has improved on that a little bit this year, just being able to see that guy in the court. And, because he's a guy that gets downhill. He's athletic. He can finish at the rim. So when he draws two, if he continues to show that he can let it go, and he sees that guy in the corner, he sees that guy on the wing, he sees the early kick out, I think he'll be fine. And either way, man, he's a really good player. He'll make a ton of money playing professionally for some years to come.
And here's another thing too, Greg. If you look at the way college basketball's gone and some of the late first round and early second round picks over the past few seasons, the way the collective bargaining agreement is heading, you're going to have two superstar players, and you got to have a bunch of dudes that are low paid. And into first round picks and early second round guys, they provide tremendous value. Look, last year I'm just going to say, Hunter Tyson gets picked 35th, and it ends up being the highest paid player in the second round at 4 years, $8 million, because those guys provide value, and there's not as much guesswork with some of these older players. So it's a little bit more of a proven commodity. So I think for Terrence Shannon, this could actually work in his favor to be able to, show that he can produce consistently. If he's able to shoot the ball consistently for the duration of the year, he's only 27 of 65 from three this year. You got to be able to continue that through Big Ten play. That's going to be huge. But it certainly helps whenever you've proven you can produce. And I think there's more value being placed on those type of players, those older players at the end of the first round and early part of the second.
Thank you for watching the Field of 68. If you've enjoyed what you've seen here, hit that like button, share this link with your friends, or check out the description for some other places that you can consume Field of 68 content.